Welcome to Rick and That Michelle Chick. I'm that Michelle Chick.
And I'm Rick. Welcome.
So I have some news. Good news. I am officially a grandma.
Yay! Congratulations, Michelle. I love this. I love this. And this is the first grandbaby, right?
Yes, but I won't be called grandma. I will be called Mimi. Her mom goes by Juju, and so I'm Mimi,
Is that the
which
new
is
thing,
fine.
Michelle? Is that
What
the
to
new
not
thing?
be? Yes, I think because I have another friend that I know. She goes by Lolly, um, and then her husband is Pops. Get it, Lolly and Pops.
Yeah, I get it.
So I think the days. My mom goes by Nana, and so I think the days of going by Grandma or Nana. My niece calls her other grandma Mima. Uh, so I think the days of going by those more old fashioned grandma y type, I don't know, nicknames, whatever you would call them, are kind of going by the wayside. I first threw out that I wanted to be called Glamma at first,
Grandma.
but
Of course it had to be grandma.
right. But they said that'd be too hard for
Right.
a
Right.
little one to pronounce. So Mimi, it is. So
Well, congratulations.
thank you.
That's pretty amazing. It's got to feel great. Take it from
Yes.
somebody who's never going to be a grandfather. See, I I'm so desperate to be a grandfather that you can call me Gramps. I mean, I still think that I'd be the coolest grandpa ever.
I think you would too. I really do.
So congratulations. I'm very proud.
Thank
And
you.
congrats to the happy couple and all that. I know that that's going to be, it changes once you have your own kid, your life drastically changes. We already talked about this a long time ago on another podcast, but for me, it's the most incredible thing you'll ever do. Above wealth, above a job, above anything, even if you're famous, that to me, your own child is like one of the greatest things you'll ever do.
Right. And, again, we talked about this on another podcast. The love that you feel, even when people tell you when you're expecting your first child, oh, like you are going to feel this
Yeah.
love that you have never felt before. And you can't really grasp it until that baby is really in your arms and you're like, oh, okay. Now I get what they were saying. Yes, because I would move heaven and earth for this little tiny thing.
Well, of
Yeah,
course. Well,
so, yeah.
absolutely. I remember when Logan was born. It was funny is I love that you brought up the point because when he was in his mom's belly, she like, oh, he kicked and da 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 da, the realism didn't set in.
Mm-hmm.
And then once Pokey had to have an emergency C-section, so that was one
Oh
thing that kind of
gosh.
poor, and then Logan was like 10 pounds, so he's a big baby
Yeah.
that came out, and
Yeah.
the doctor, when we went in for the 7th month, was like, oh, it's not that big of a baby, and I'm like, holy crap, look at her, she's like massively.
She's not that tall, right?
No,
If I
she's
remember
5'4".
right.
She's 5'4",
Yeah,
but
she's tiny.
she was huge. And he goes, oh, it'll come out, and I'm like, that baby is not coming out. And of course, she had 24-hour labor. And then they put Logan into cardiac arrest. So they try to take it, not to be graphic, Logan, but they try to take it vaginally. And I'm in the room and he's not coming out. And so they put him into cardiac arrest. So they prepped the surgery room. And so I remember that first moment. It's really weird. It's so weird because when he cried, then I knew he was there. He's here. He's
Right.
here.
That is a traumatic, scary story that you are describing.
Oh, it was. Well, because
knowing that your baby's life is at risk and it's mere minutes that we have to get into the OR and get this baby out, kind of thing.
And they did, and they scrubbed me up and put scrubs on, and I did not look over the curtain. I had no desire to look at. No, I had no desire to look over the curtain when they're doing what they have to do for the C-section. But I do. The funny thing is, I do recall that I was the first person to hold him. So because the doctor passed him to me first, and then she got to hold him for a second, or can't really hold him because they put her next to him. They put him next to her, for just a second, and then the nurse started. The nurse was coming to get him, and I would not let the nurse take the baby. And so she had to go. Sir, I have to take the baby. And I said, I will walk you. where we're taking the baby.
Oh
And so,
goodness.
yeah. So I walked Logan all the way out of the OR and all the way to the nursery or whatever. And then they finally did take him from me. And then the most amazing thing, of course, having a 10-pound baby was they roll all the new babies out there. And so you see the pink blankets, you see the blue
Hmm.
blankets, so you know who your baby is. And there's
Right.
my tank. There's my tank sitting out there. And one of the obstetricians uh, rolled up and was checking out the new babies, and he literally goes, I want that big one. So there's something to be said for, you already know, for having a big baby. Because when they're really tiny, I was a 4-pound baby. I can't imagine that.
I mean,
But
Shaylee was 2.5 months early,
oh,
so she was 3 pound 1 ounce.
right,
So I get
right.
it.
So there's
Hmm.
so your grandbaby is how many? Are you allowed to see how heavy you're?
I mean, I
Yeah,
would rather not, but
but
I mean,
but
she's the average weight that
right,
most
right.
babies are.
So so
So
so average weight, and then you add 4 or 5 pounds on. That's a big. It's a that Logan, and it is I think a bigger baby. I guess you're just not. It's funny. It's almost like having a toy doll because he was doing things at an age because he was just bigger that
right,
like sitting up in different things. He was
yeah,
just stronger. So
right.
you weren't so afraid to drop him or hurt him, basically. So sorry,
he,
Logan, but
he
yeah.
was more advanced.
Well, I don't know if it was advanced. It's just you could just see, like, by the time he was 3 months. Of course, we did the whole gauntlet of up until he was like a couple years old. Every month there was new photos, and Pokey was so much about the baby that it was not just taking photos; it was Sears.
Oh yes, my
Yeah,
kids remember Sears and the
right,
big plastic numbers. They still talk about that to this day, having to
right,
go
right.
take pictures and it taking hours
Yep.
when you have to pick out which pictures you want. And
Yep.
oh yeah,
And
yeah.
all of that, and then suddenly after like 2 years, it just drops off. You just quit going.
Or like once you start adding more children to the
Oh well,
picture.
yeah, I don't. Yeah, you have.
Like,
I only have. I have the one, and then Kyron was, already 5 years old when I met Kyron. But yeah,
right.
for Logan, but his mom like that. So up until like a certain point, there was like, oh, there's almost monthly photos, and then
Hmm.
suddenly there's none for like 10 years.
Right. And it's funny with the first kid, everything has to be
Oh
clean. They
yes,
can't play in the dirt. They can't this and they can't that. And by the second one, you're like, eat some
and
dirt. It'll be fine.
and the fourth one for you, so that because you have four, so that yeah,
Well,
and
she again was preemie and she was the
right,
only one out of all four that were preemie. So that was a whole new
yeah, well, yeah.
experience
Well, I
all
know
in
that.
itself.
I think it was interesting too was that Pokey, even though we didn't have a lot of money, she went out and bought the best things for Logan.
Mm.
So a great example is she went and bought like a high-tech high chair and a stroller. And the hilarity was he hated the stroller. Like he never used it once. He was in there for one time and that was the end of it. We had a crib. We had a crib for Logan. He never used it. And yeah, we were those bad parents that we just wanted to get sleep. So we let him sleep in the bed, and they're like, "Oh, you're gonna roll over on that baby," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Look at that baby! You think we're gonna roll over on that? You're not rolling over on this." It was one of those, where they let the baby cry. Oh no, no, no! I didn't.
No, that
I
old adage, or I don't even know where that started from, or what it would technically be called. But in my mind, like my grandma and Jay's grandma tried to tell us the same thing, like, oh, you just have to let them cry themselves to sleep. And I'm thinking, your baby cries when it needs something. So obviously your baby is
right.
needing something. There's no reason that you just need to let your baby cry. Or this is the other one I hated. Don't spoil them by holding them all the time.
Yeah, right.
It's like, I'm sorry, they're tiny for only a short amount of time. I don't care if they get spoiled that I'm walking around the house holding them. I don't care. Like,
Yeah,
it made no
I,
sense to me.
Yeah, I'm in your same boat. I smothered Logan. It was funny when when Pokey had to Pokey started cosmetology school, and I was working at the radio station. The state was good enough to pay part of the daycare, so he was
Hmm.
able to go to day or pre daycare or daycare. And I remember that I dropped him off one time, and then and I talked to the daycare provider, And a couple weeks later, Pokey came to me and goes, here's the deal. You cannot stay. You're supposed to drop him off. And she goes, you were there an hour and a half one time.
Well,
And
I
I
mean,
was like, well, that's my kid. That's my kid.
right,
I'm
you
going to
want
make sure that
to
they're taking
right
care of
that
my
they're
kid.
safe. Yeah, they are safe, and the people there are taking good care. I mean, now at least most daycares or places that watch your children have cameras, and so
Yeah,
you can
they have cameras, but
you can
I was
check
that
in.
yeah.
But
I was that dad asked to just drop off and not stay and chat with the daycare providers and watch my. So basically, for an hour and a half, I'd be babysitting my own kid at the daycare center
right, while you're paying the daycare.
while I'm paying the daycare. So I would never say I was a helicopter parent. I was never a helicopter parent. I was just always when he was younger. I was just always around.
What would Logan say you were
No,
or
I don't
weren't
think
a
he would.
helicopter
No,
parent?
I don't think he would. I don't think he
Mm,
would.
mm. Which, speaking of him, don't you have to
I
say something?
Okay, so I do have a question really quick. So
Okay,
I do
to
understand
me
that
or
my eyes. I know my eyes are brown all the way to the top.
yes,
I mean, I am full of it. Okay, I get
we
that.
know. Yeah,
And sometimes I've been accused of exaggerating stories to make them interesting.
but that's what we are supposed to. We are trained to do that on the radio. We have to do that.
Right,
Even Regis Philbin used to talk about that. You
right,
know,
and
on TV, that
yeah,
you have to exaggerate a good story. You have to exaggerate a little
to
bit
make
to make it a
it
little
interesting.
better.
Yes, so
Yes.
to make it. So on our last podcast, we were talking about um, the N word in songs and not having our kids sing those songs. And so Kyron had Fetty Wap, and then Logan, um, he said he was upset at me saying that it makes him sound like he was a racist, and I'm like, no, you're not. And so what happened was
He was
it was
just
not
singing the song. You know,
right.
especially if he was younger, right? He not
He doesn't
thinking that
recall it.
at
He
that
doesn't
age,
recall.
right?
He doesn't recall, but he said it wasn't high school. I said, okay, well, probably junior high. And he went through every Akon song looking for the N word and what the song was. He goes, I never found it. So it might have been Neo. It was one of those songs. It did not. It got popped in for like 2 seconds, and he started to sing. That was the end of the story. He did not walk around using that language or any of that. So I
No,
just
I
have to.
mean,
I just have to publicly apologize. And he always is. He's like, that's not how it happened, my guy. That's his big. That's his big thing now, my guy.
oh,
And
don't ever call me bro. Like, you know how that is like the Gen Z, they're calling each other bro. My niece
bro,
tried to
what?
call me bro one time, and I was like, no, I am your aunt. Dude, no, don't ever
Who
call me
called you,
that
bro?
again. My niece.
Oh yeah.
Because, you know, everybody is bro. It's like, bro this, bro that, bro. And I don't know if she just did it not thinking, just out of habit, but she was like, bro. And I was like, no, I don't like it.
I'm definitely one of those parents for Logan's sake that I was never one of those parents where he got to call me by my first name. I'm dad.
Oh, no, never.
Yes. That was. I remember, because when they get to be a teenager, they get to be about what 5 or 6. They find out your real name and they try to call you by their real name.
Yes.
And I always shut them down and say, no, I'm dad. I'm
right.
dad.
Which I knew that was the way to like get at my mom. Or
oh
my
yeah,
dad.
I bet. What's your mom's first name?
Crystal.
Yeah.
So
okay,
I knew.
Crystal. Right, exactly. Okay,
yes.
Crystal.
Mm-hmm.
Woo!
Right.
I'm surprised you survived.
I'm surprised I did too. I'm surprised I
did. Kids have been beaten for less than
yes. Oh yes. And I remember I was a teenager, which I was not a great teenager, but also look at what was happening in my life, which we've talked about on past podcasts. But I don't even know what she did, but it made me mad. And I slammed my bedroom door, and as I was slamming it, I was like, "You're such a bitch." But I said it too loud. Like normally I would say it to where she couldn't hear me, and she heard it, and she swung that door open so fast, and she like slapped me. Oh, I will never, ever forget that. Yeah. I was probably, I would say like 14, 15-ish.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there.
And she didn't take the door off the hinges because that was, Kyron had a situation where we took the door off the hinges. So yes. Because he kept slamming it. Like, no, that door is coming off the hinges.
Stellar parenting right there.
Hey, parenting is hard.
It is. You have to pick your battles.
You got to pick your battles, and there's no roadmap. There's
No,
no roadmap, and
no.
and so of course, and every child, and it's just every stage. Now, I think I don't know about you. I know you've had four, so it may to you might seem old school, but for me, I knew that I was only going to have my one, and then of course I got my bonus son Kyron. But at the time when I was younger, I knew that well, this is my one, and so I just really enjoyed all the times. So
Right.
your toddler years, when they're six, and I tried to enjoy all of it, even the teen years, and now I'm trying to enjoy the adult years. I think the adult years. I think the adult years are harder are harder than the teen years were for my son and I. So
Right, which I have a question about that
yeah,
after a little bit later in the podcast. But I did go see Fantastic Four over the weekend. Did
yeah.
you?
So did I.
Okay.
Saw it on
Okay. So,
Thursday.
yeah, I saw it on Sunday.
Okay.
Um, and I drug my poor husband to go see it. He knows that I love Pedro Pascal. I went in not knowing anything about the Fantastic Four, other than there's four of them and they have some kind of superpowers. I didn't know
Yeah.
what their superpowers were. I didn't know like how they got their superpowers. Basically, nothing about them other than Pedro Pascal is in this movie and I love him. So I went in. That's all I knew about this movie. So I liked it. I liked that it was set. Is it set in like the 60s?
Yep.
Is that yes? I
Well,
liked that.
it's kind of a throwback. It's actually I think the point is it's modern day, but it's modern day 60s
Okay,
on this
well,
on this particular Earth on this
okay,
particular Earth.
right. I liked the retro
Yep.
60s vibe of it, but with the technology, like
Yep.
what you said. And keep in mind, my review of this movie is clouded because I do love Pedro Pascal. So, just be advised of that as
Right.
we're talking about this. Herbie stole the show. I
Yeah,
do have to
Herbie.
say, he was adorable. He is at Disneyland. I did see a Disney influencer post because I follow a whole bunch of them. Posted a video, and he's at Disneyland with the Fantastic Four. I loved that there was a baby, like a superhero. Well, a baby. I won't say superhero because now I'm going to give some of it away. But
Yeah, it's okay.
um,
It's been
I
out.
yeah, I love the aspect of the baby and the Pedro Pascal's character and trying to figure out if the baby is going to have superpowers. Is he going to be okay? Which, as first time parents, we relate to that because our worry is, are they going to be healthy? We got to
Yeah.
keep them safe. We got to keep
Yep.
them from hurting. That's pretty standard first parent stuff. So I really loved that because it really hits home with all of us. I thought the storyline was good. Again, I have not read any of the comics. I know nothing about them other than there's four of them. That's really all I knew going into this. And I don't want to spoil a whole bunch of it. So, my husband, as we're watching this movie, he leans over to me and he's like, so and so is going to so and so. And I'm like, oh, I cannot take you to no movies. Like, he's the type of nothing. He's the type of person that, okay, so we'll be watching a movie or a show and he'll have it figured out and he'll tell me. And then because he figured it out, then now it's dumb. But if we watch a show like Paradise, which is specifically written so that you can't figure it out, then, which he can't figure it out, once we watch that, then it's dumb because he can't figure it out. Like, I cannot win with this man. Like, when we watch shows or movies, I'm like, sometimes I just want to watch this and not have
Zone
to
out.
think about, right? Not have to analyze or think. And I'm like, I just want to watch the Fantastic Four and watch Pedro Pascal. I don't want to be thinking about nothing else. And then my sister in law's husband, they found out we were going to see this movie, and he's like, I think, Pedro Pascal's just been in too much stuff lately. Like, I'm overseeing him everywhere. And I was like, no. No, he is Hollywood's current it man. I mean, Brad Pitt was, Tom Cruise was at one time. So that's my rant about all that. So, yeah.
Well, what do they call that? Oversaturated or
Yes.
overexposed. But
Yes. But that happens. Like, look at Brad Pitt. He is like, he's on fire right now and everybody wants him in
Yep.
everything. So, and women love him. He's adorable. He's nice. He's kind. He's thoughtful. Did you see him on the red carpet? He was helping his sister Lux with her dress. Like, that to us women is like, oh,
My
like, we
gosh.
love that. And he's funny and he's handsome. Did I mention that? I probably did. I don't know.
I just never, when, gosh, from Alexander to Pedro, that's quite the.
They're my two. I know they look nothing alike, right?
They look
Like,
nothing
one
alike,
is
and I don't see Pedro being.
I don't
rich.
have a type, I guess. I don't know. He's like, Alex is blonde and blue-eyed and tall, and Pedro is brown-eyed, brown-haired. I mean, he looks like he's average height. I'll have to Google what his height is. I don't really know, but yeah.
But
I think it's more about who they are as people.
Well, he's very sensitive, and
yes.
And the movie was a lot of fun. So you never saw the Jessica Alba Fantastic Four movies in the mid 2000s? So
no.
Okay, so you just weren't familiar going into it. And
I don't want to give anything away, but
yeah,
I have a question. Who is the superhero that has the silver mask?
You mean Silver Surfer?
Is there one? No. Is there?
Oh, Dr. Doom. He's the bad guy.
Okay.
Dr. Doom's the bad guy.
Okay, because I didn't know.
Their main nemesis is Dr. Doom. And that's all the way back. That's all the way back to. All the way back to the 60s.
Okay.
And some would say that Darth Vader is Dr. Doom has been around since the early 60s, and some would say Darth Vader is an inspiration for George Lucas for Dr. Doom was for Darth Vader.
Okay.
So, and then if you're just curious, if you want to dig, have you ever seen the movie, the cartoons, The Incredibles?
The Disney movie, The Incredibles?
Yeah. Pixar, The Incredibles?
Yeah.
That's who they're based on.
Oh.
Jack is based on Franklin Richards. So yes, so there you go. So yeah, the Incredibles, the Incredibles got the Fantastic Four right before the Fantastic Four got it right.
Okay.
But yes, the Incredibles are inspired by the Incredibles were inspired by the Fantastic Four.
Okay, good to know the backstory. Again, I knew nothing about them. I didn't.
Because there's a stretch. I didn't even know
the
wife stretches. The wife stretches.
Yes.
See, so it's very similar. Yep.
Yeah. When you said that, I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah. You could see that. No, it was fun. Okay. It was fun. Enjoyed it. It's out of my own. I would like to see DC actually get an. So there's two comic book companies. There's a lot of comic book companies, but the two main comic book companies are DC and Marvel. So just remember, it's easy for DC: Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman.
Okay.
And then when you're looking at Marvel, it's the X-Men, Deadpool, Wolverine, all those guys. Right. So it was really nice to see Superman get a win against Marvel for once, because Marvel has released 37 movies now.
They have so many characters, right? They have more, right?
Yeah, so does DC, but just DC has not been able to get that volume.
Okay.
So yeah, DC has those, because DC has the Flash, Aquaman, Green Lantern. They have a bunch of characters. They both the companies have thousands of characters.
Okay.
But it's just nice to see that Superman. Right now they're neck and neck. But it's interesting. I've been talking a lot about. I'm a huge, you already know, huge superhero fan. Just huge. My entire man cave is nothing but superheroes, and I'm burnt out on superheroes. There's so much of it, superhero fatigue, and I think we're seeing that at the movies where everybody wants $1 billion movie,
and that's not going to happen anymore, though.
No, because streaming. I think superhero fatigue, and I think streaming has really. And they're like, well, what about Jurassic Park? Well, that's dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are universal,
right?
And especially overseas, because they've got King Kong, they've got Godzilla, they love all that. So, it's interesting. So it's nice to see Superman be a little bit ahead of Fantastic Four. Both of the movies had excellent reviews and excellent, audience scores. So, so that means you're going to watch the Avengers when it comes out with Pedro, because Pedro's going to be in that one.
Yes, which I saw him talking. He was on one of the talk show, I don't know, promoting this movie, and they were talking about how they have to go right into filming the next Avengers movie that they all four are going to be in. And I was like, oh, my ears perked up. I got to go see that movie. So.
Yep, you got to go see that. Yeah. So, well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I did. 10-10 for me. But, again, judgment is completely clouded. Do not go off of anything that I was
going to say. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. and I'm gonna give
Oh, that's
Soups
pretty
an
high.
I'm gonna give Superman an 8.5 out of 10.
Okay.
So they were
Okay.
neck. They're, for me, they're both neck and neck.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, let's go back to this question that I have for you since we were talking about kids. So, is it different for moms when it comes to your adult kids reconnecting with an ex than it is with dad? And I'll explain. So, like as moms, we hold grudges like nobody's business. Especially to someone who's done something to our kids. And I wasn't sure if guys are the same. So Jackson told me that his ex reached out, and this was his first real relationship. They broke up, I think this was around like 2 years ago. And he said that they had coffee, and of course my first mom grizzly bear feelings kicked in, and I had to just okay, like in my head be like, okay, don't say out loud or scream out loud, absolutely not, because that's what's going through my head at that time. Absolutely not, you're not getting back together. I'm completely jumping to conclusions at
Right.
this point.
Right.
They just met for coffee after not speaking to each other for 2 years. But in my mind, that's where I completely jumped to. And for me, it's like, no, you're not getting back together. That's off the table. But again, that's just me in my head. And I'll give you another example. Shaylee, of me being like overprotective, crazy. Shaylee had this group of girlfriends in school, and they were all pretty close. And she had PE with one of the girls, and they would walk around the track. That was one of the options they could do during PE. So her and this other girl that was part of their friend group would walk around the track. And the other girl is super quiet. Kind of, I mean, Shaylee is too. And so to fill that silence, Shaylee would talk. And then Shaylee found out that that girl was telling another girl in the friend group that Shaylee talks about herself. And then they were talking bad about Shaylee, and their other
Oh,
friend in
right.
their friend group overheard it and told Shaylee. And of course, me being the overprotective, crazy grizzly bear mom, I freaked out and I wanted to call up these girls or whatever and yell at them. And Shaylee's like, please don't do
Yeah.
that.
Don't
Just
do
wait
it.
till we graduate high school. So they have graduated, and I have not ran into these girls, but by God, if I do, I will give them a piece of my mind about that, because it was shitty and not really, it wasn't called for at all. I don't understand it, but girls are super catty like that. But that's a different
I don't
topic we can talk about. So I'm just want
about how
like,
catty
do
girls are.
guys, yeah, yes, how horrible we are to each other. That's a whole nother, when we should be like supporting each other, but that's a whole nother topic. So am I just the crazy, overprotective grizzly bear mom, or is that something like guys would think too? I don't
No,
know. You tell
there's no
me.
doubt.
Like,
I mean, we want the like any parent, we want the best for our kids. We probably might not be as vocal as the mama bear, but we can definitely go papa bear. But I'm also this is the tough one for you, Michelle.
oh,
And it's like you have got to let them fall down, scrape their knees a little bit, and we've all, at least I don't know about you, Michelle. I know you've been married a very long time, but I became very ill many years ago and made a ton of wrong decisions. I
right.
just, and it comes from my childhood trauma. I know we haven't unpacked any of that, but it's so funny. When I was in high school, we coined the term for it. We coined it. We called it the sickness.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's only happened to me a few times in my life, and it is the worst place I could ever be when I get this sickness. And it's like a salmon trying to spawn. It's like no, it is. I would rather kill myself. You've seen me with the sickness, Michelle.
I have, yes, but I mean,
And
I wouldn't
it
describe it like that, but okay.
well, it's like as our old boss Cheryl used to say, all you have to do is be honest with Rick. Tell him yes or no. period.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, and then she goes, and he's coming. And you've seen that, it's not just in my relationships or my personal stuff. When it comes to goals, when it comes to achieving stuff, it's like, if it gets askew, it's horrific, because I'll destroy
Right.
it's like a nuclear bomb going off. Now, if it's pointed the right way, you can't. If it's a, like it's a goal of like, oh, I want to save whatever it is. I want to save $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
I will. You know me. I will do it.
Right. You'll get there.
As Micah used to say, if I say something, oh, he's gonna do it. He'll do it. I've never been one of those people that once I make a decision, guess what? I'm all in.
Right.
And so it's tough when you see your kids go through those things. And so Logan, here we go, Logan.
Sorry, Logan.
His very first album, his No Hope very first album, The Story of You, is written about a girl. All the cuts are about a girl. And you can go, and here you go, Logan. You can get it on Amazon. It's on Spotify. The album is the artist is No Hope, and then the album is The Story of You. All 7 songs chronologically describe his relationship, from the infatuation to the middle of it, to the breakup, to the recovery of it. So that was his way of getting, I don't know, that angst out. One of the things this is also one of the cool things, that here's a cool story about Logan is, this is where you let kids do what they're going to do. Is Logan, when he was 14, he loved Guitar Hero. That was his thing. And of course, like most naysayers, they always go, well, that's not playing real guitar.
Right.
So Logan wanted a guitar for his 14th birthday, or no, for Christmas. So I got him a guitar, and that thing sat in the corner for 2 years. Now, I never mentioned it to him. It just sat in the corner. And then, interesting enough, he was part of a talent show when he was, I think, a junior or a sophomore. And he did this Green Day song, and he didn't play guitar. He just went out and sang and was part of this band. Well, I discovered later that the band had kicked him out of the band. So there is a little bit of dad in there, because guess when he did it on his own. So guess what he picked up? Picked up that guitar. He goes, I'll do my own band. And then, of course, this girl came along, and that was a big mess. And so all these songs were about this girl. So, and then there was times he would say, oh, yeah, I'm back. We're seeing each other, or we're back together. I'm like, oh, geez, here we go. And it always ended. Now I just want you to know, just real quick, 8 years, he's been with the same girlfriend. He's absolutely head over heels in love, which is awesome. But it was funny going through those mountains and those valleys.
Yes.
Because you know what a bad influence, Michelle, you have to, I don't know much about your dating life before Jay, because you've been married to Jay for a long time. Right. But there had to have been some bad influences in there that you're like, I don't need that. That's like crack cocaine. But you keep going back.
Oh, yeah.
Until you eventually learn, then you have to stop it.
Yes.
Like, I'm not going to do that. And that's when behavior changes. But that's with anything. That's with weight loss. That's with, I want a new job, all these different things. So it's hard not being the Papa Bear. It's hard, especially when someone says, like, you were talking about the Mean Girls thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that would be super hard. I don't know. But remember, I'm still a very emotional person too. So to me, it's like, you touch my kid, I'll kick the shit out of you.
And I don't know. Yes. And I don't know if it's a different, like with sons and daughters. I mean, because I feel like I react the same way with all of them. Oh, like, dramatic. Everything's horrible. Or you're gonna take care of this myself.
Well, I think it depends.
I'm gonna go to the playground and kick the shit out of those girls.
Yeah, on the situation. So a great example. There's two stories. Funny thing, 2 stories in my book that are definitely from Mama Bear, my foster mom. One was when I was 6 or 7. I was so enamored with superheroes at the time that I came home one day and I was beat up. Like, I was bloodied. And not because I didn't stick up for myself, but because a kid 3 times the size of me got into a fight with me. So the bus pulled up, and my foster mom got on the bus and went to that little kid and literally said, "You ever touch him again, I'll end you." Well, I'll
Oh,
say the word. She said, "I'll effing kill you."
oh,
So she got on the
damn.
bus, and then she did ask the little boy. He was three times this. He was like 3 grades above me, and 3 times my size. It wasn't that I didn't fight him.
Right.
And
It
she
wasn't
said,
a
and he,
fair fight at
it wasn't
all
a fair fight. And so she
whatsoever.
said, and that's why she interfered in that. And she had said that the kid said, because I said, well, I'm Superman. You can't hurt me. And then the boy was like, well, yeah, I can. So anyway, but
Kids are assholes. I
kids are
swear.
assholes. But on the flip side, there's another story that's in the book about my foster mom. She was doing the dishes, and there was a little boy that lived up on the hill, same age as me. Little boy lived up on the hill. He'd come down and he would pick on me, and harass me. And she saw this from the window one day, and she's washing the dishes. So when she saw me, she pulled me aside and says, "Okay, Virgil, next time he comes down and picks on you, he goes, you're going to hit him." And I said, "Well, Mom, I can't do that." And she's like, "No, you're going to hit him." And I said, "I can't do it." And she goes, "Okay, here's the deal, Virgil. You're either going to hit him or I'm going to give you something to cry about."
Oh.
So so anyway, this little boy comes down to pick on me, and she's out there again, and it's so funny. It's in the book, and he starts picking on me. So guess what I do? I just pop him, and guess who
He
went
never
down?
picked on you again,
No,
probably after
never
that.
picked on me again. Dropped him like a sack of potatoes. Now I will tell you, and it's even in the book. I've been in very few fights in my life. One I can say that I won, and one I got my ass kicked.
What was that one? That's the one you won.
So eighth grade. So I talk a lot about in the book how a lot of my confidence was taken away when we moved in with the Wallaces. They took my confidence, all that my mom had given me, or all the lessons she had given me, was stripped away. So in junior high, as you already know, is the worst.
Oh, yeah, it's horrible in a
Right.
functioning family environment.
It was interesting to go from for me, first through fourth grade. I went to Asotin Elementary, and I was a popular kid, or I was not a disliked kid. I wasn't the scummy kid. I wasn't the geeky kid or any of that. I was actually fairly popular in elementary school. And then we moved, and then went to junior high. You're the first kid in sixth grade, and then I'm with the Wallaces, all the abuse and tearing that apart. So people, and then I got to junior high, and virgin was the big thing. Virgin, Virgil,
right,
virgin,
of course,
being called, yeah.
Right.
So that was all the way for 3 years, and I wouldn't fight, and I was so mad at myself because that wasn't what I was taught. And I remember one time going to school in seventh grade, and I ended up marrying his sister. But Pokey's brother, his name was Jerry Job. He's a bully, just a bully. No, he's just a bully. Now, this is before I ever knew Pokey. But we were walking to school in seventh grade, and I had my sister Robin with me, and they just come up to me and they start a fight. And I'm like, I'll take both of you right now. I dropped my books, like, I'll take you both down. And Robin's like, don't do it. And so I didn't fight. To this day, I hate myself because
you
it was not.
You wouldn't have listened to your sister.
I should never listen to my sister. So the next year over, her and I are walking to home from school, and this kid comes up on me. And I won't give you his name. His name was Jeff. I can even tell you his last name. And he's like, Virgil, and just, come on, and come on, pussy, let's fight. Come on, pussy. Finally, I had enough. It was eighth grade, dropped the book, turned around, and he goes, come on, man, throw the first punch. Well, you bet I did. You know what I'm saying? And I all that rage of 3 years. It was like, and so the next day I saw that Jeff kid. He saw me at the bus stop. He goes, yeah, I'm not going to pick on you anymore, because he realized I'd fight back. And then in high school, some other kid, his name was Guy Gaswent, for some reason. We were friends in seventh grade. He came back to the high school. He'd been gone from junior high and all that. And I don't know why he wanted to pick on me, but he would come up and he would literally physically hit me and kick me. And so it went on for a few months. And then finally I said, hey man, I'll meet you outside. And this is in the book. So I met him outside in the park. And he goes, come on, man. So of course he's bigger than me. They're always bigger than me. They always
are.
And so he's 3 times the size of me. So I take that first punch, and it surprised him. It shocked him because I got a good one in, but that was the last punch.
The one and only punch you got in.
Because down I went, and after the fight, I asked my friends. We're walking home. I'm like, hey, did I look good down there? And they go, yeah, you looked good. You looked good. You know, you were doing okay. I'm like, you know,
Oh gosh.
the principal came and broke up the fight, and then he got expelled and got yeah. But I always ask that question. How'd I look down there? How'd I look? I'm like, oh man, Virgil, you look great. You look good. You know,
yeah,
you look like you were taking it pretty good. But I don't know. Have you ever been in a physical fight?
No, I have been bullied and picked on by girls horribly, but luckily we haven't actually gone to blows.
So the good news, I will tell you this, trust me, I don't like to fight. I don't want to fight. I will fight if I have to. But you physically, when you're doing it, you really don't feel it because your adrenaline.
No, right. I was going to say your adrenaline's probably like.
Yeah, now they can be doing some serious. You feel it the next day, but you don't feel it when you're in the fight because it's basically survival. You're trying to survive in the fight, and so so there's a couple instances where it's like that. I've had to defend myself, and again, I've always told Logan, or even I was talking to Kyron, it's like I take Pearl's wisdom. But you want to fight? Take that, hit them, drop them, like because that's what they want. They want to throw the first punch, and they look like the bad guy, right?
Right.
So when they don't leave. Yeah, so when they don't leave you alone, I look back all the times in junior high. There was a kid named Jason Twistleton. It was 8th grade, and he used to kick me in PE class because they make you sit in a row. Remember when they make you sit Indian style in a row?
Yes.
You know, and he would sit there behind me and kick me. And one time he kicked me, and I got up and I just left. I just left the class. I'm like, I'm not gonna. To this day. And I've seen him on Facebook. I have no desire to start anything up, but I've always made a promise that if I ever cross that kid's path again, now, just if it makes people feel better, he's a total douche. Like on his Facebook. That's
usually the bullies do grow up to still be asses as adults.
You peak in high school. I mean, that's it. You peak in high school.
You're the star quarterback in high school, and that's it.
Right. Your peak years are done. The best part is they usually have at our age. The best part is they usually have a big old beer gut, and they're balding.
They're balding.
Oh, they're balding. And what's so interesting when you run into them later? Not that being on the radio is any great thing, but it's amazing going back to reunions how different they treat you because like you've met all these stars and you're on the radio. I mean, it's a totally different thing than it was.
Yep.
Coming out of high, I'm sure they say the same thing about you too.
Yes, and when was I on the bowl? Shoot, I don't remember. I think so, but I was doing a remote somewhere, and one of the popular girls in school that used to be mean to me and bully me. We've talked about in a past episode, we use different last names. Yep. So she didn't, correlate who I was by listening to me on the radio as who I was that she went to school with. And she stopped and was like, oh my gosh, you're so-and-so from high school. And she was so nice to me. And it was all I could do. I'm in this capacity at work again, so I couldn't be like mean or rude to her. And it took everything in me not to be like, yeah, you're a fucking bitch to me in school. But I was just like, playing the game that you have to play. So
I think the reality is most of the people that I've ever come across never realized that they did that. Most people have long forgotten. They did not realize that they treated you bad or any of those situations because I've had nothing but great experiences at high school reunions. People walking up and then the real bullies, they just never show up. I will tell you, this will not. I'm probably gonna get a lot of crap on this, but I'm gonna tell you a little story, and you can say shame on me or how dare I. Okay. But there was a kid, and I will not say his name because I have a lot of classmates listening. They'll know who it is. But there was a mean kid. He was mean. He was flat out mean. And we had this thing at Clarkson High School called the senior ramp. And so the thing is, the seniors would sit on both sides of the ramp, and all the students had to go down this ramp to get to their classes, and so they took great joy in tripping other kids, you know, and that was the
Oh, that
point of
like the
being,
high
yeah,
school initiation shit that we used to have
yeah.
to go through. That is now illegal, thank goodness.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So
Yeah.
they'd sit and trip kids. Well, there
Yeah.
was one guy, he was just the biggest bully all the way through our school. He was just a big bully. Now, he never necessarily bullied me, but I had a friend of mine named Greg that he was just walking down the senior ramp one day, and this bully just point blank just hit him like full force fist. And Greg, I couldn't believe it. Greg took the punch, looked at him without missing a beat, and goes, "You ever do that again, I'll fucking kill you." And he,
Oh,
I mean, and at the time, you know, you would consider Greg to be one of the geeks or nerds. You know what I'm saying?
right.
And to take a punch from one of the biggest bullies in school and not flinch. No, he didn't even flinch. I went, we heard that and went, oh my gosh. So years later, I'm at a 4th of July event in Clarkston, and one of my old classmates walks up and goes, "Oh my gosh, did you hear what happened to da 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 da?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And they go, "Oh, well, a few years back, they wrapped themselves around a telephone pole. Not Greg, the bully,
Mhm.
wrapped himself around a telephone pole, and now they are paraplegic from their neck down."
Oh
And
my goodness.
and the classmate goes, "Man, don't you feel bad?" And I went, "No."
That's karma.
I no, and I went,
I mean,
"No."
I'm going to
And they go
say
and they
I
go and
might
they go, "Yeah." And they go,
be a
"Virgil, how
bad
could you say
person.
that?" And I said, "This person was the biggest bully to all the nerds and geeks, and I'm not going to feel any remorse for this person doing this to themselves."
Right.
So I am going to withhold the names because I know that class, and then I may have some classmates mad at me because they'll know exactly who I'm talking about. He was
Oh,
a bully. He was a terror. So now this is when I said that, that was probably 30 years ago. So I probably don't feel the same because I know I've gone back to some reunions
mhm.
where they said, "Oh, he wants to come, da 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 da," but he's afraid of what he looks like or people to see him the way he is.
Right. I mean, that
And
makes
and so
sense.
to me, I'm like, there's at 55, hey, bygones are bygones.
Right.
I mean, life's too short. I just want to, tell everybody life's too short. And if he came back to the reunion, I would be nothing but nice. I probably wouldn't talk to him because
Right.
I really didn't know him anyway.
Mhm.
But talk about some crazy. So Mama Bear, I mean, you can Tanya Harding these girls with a pipe. But it's like I just feel kids I mean, boy, that's tough, especially with the bad relationships.
Well, and Jackson isn't a kid; he's an adult.
Yep. You got to let them
So
fall down.
it's
Well, I remember years ago, and we don't have to go deep into this. Matthew had a young man
mhm.
that was, not the best for Matthew,
Right.
and
And
that
that
took.
was kind of his first relationship too.
Yeah.
And that
That
really,
did that not take some time to that was
yes,
a bounce was that not a bouncing ball?
that was really difficult because
Yeah.
that person was abusive to him. And as the parent, you can't really say much because if you do, that's going to push your child
Yep.
away
From
to the
you.
other
Yep.
person.
Mhm.
Right. And so we really, it took everything in me not to say something or be like, Matthew, get the fuck away, get out of this
Right.
relationship.
Well,
But
because you're in it. You're in it.
yes, and until they see that and
Yeah.
realize that, which he eventually did, thankfully, and got out and has not dated anyone like that since, thank God. So
It
it's
is.
just
I think
it's
it's hard.
hard. Yeah.
Well, especially when it's your own. Especially when your child's in a poisonous relationship or a bad relationship. And
Yes.
interesting enough, Kyron, my stepson, was in a relationship for 5 years, and he recently broke up with
Wow.
his girlfriend. No, recently broke up with a girlfriend, and it was a rough go of it. Well, now he's got himself a new girlfriend, so it's amazing. And he's young. He's like 22 years old. Good for. I mean,
Mhm.
that's what those are the hills and valleys you go through,
Yeah.
and you have to do it as an adult.
I know.
So
It's so
it's tough.
hard.
It's tough being mama bear and not being able to step in and go, hey, that person's not the best for you, because at the moment they're not going to want to hear it, especially when they're a teenager.
Oh God. Yeah. Then it's even
Yeah,
twice as worse
you're
as
right,
when they're an
right.
adult.
So all you can do is be there to pick up the pieces. If something goes bad again, you're there to pick up the pieces.
Right. So
So,
you as the guy wouldn't freak out internally like I did, or you
oh,
would.
I definitely talk behind their back 24/7 and
Okay, good.
talk to my spouse
Okay.
about it, and
Okay.
it's like, just say I don't like that person.
Okay, good. I'm,
You,
I'm
you
not
you
crazy then. That's what you're
you
saying.
don't do those things, and then you just watch their behavior to make sure that it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, and that some relationships are poison. Some doing a superhero analogy, some relationships are kryptonite. They are. They are. And it's as
Yes.
I have learned, and we've joked about this. You would like to think that grass is greener on the other side, but my
It's
my
not.
terminology now is there's just dirt over there. Oh, that grass looks green, and then you get
Dirt
over
and
there like there's nothing but
cactuses.
dirt. Yeah. So, but everybody's different. Every relationship's different. So I'll be curious to see how this one turns out for Jackson. Now, did you get any update? Did they already go?
Yes, they did go to coffee. That's what he, told me about. I didn't even know that they had. So the ex had reached out to him,
Yeah. Right.
and I didn't know that. I didn't know they had gone to coffee, and I asked him, well, how did it go? How, and he's like, well, they just kind of talked about themselves a lot, and Jackson had always suspected that this person was already seeing someone else.
Yeah.
Before they broke up, and I think that they kind of were at least like talking to them. And so
Yeah.
he said
Sure.
that a lot of the time his ex was complaining about that person a lot. And so I asked Jackson, well, did they take accountability for anything in the relationship between the two of you that happened? Or was it all just blaming that person for everything that happened? And he's like, well, they didn't
Right.
really touch on that too much, because in my mind, I'm like, okay, if they're blaming this other person, then they are not seeing their part in the relationship or what happened, if that makes sense. And so I just wanted to make sure he would be able to see that. He said that he's not sure if he's going to stay friends with him.
Right.
He said that it was weird. Um, and so hopefully that like that's it, and it's like the
It works.
spark isn't going to ignite
Right.
again, and then
It'll
we're going
work.
to have to
It'll
go
work.
through this all over again. So
The biggest lesson I think it's so funny about relationships is like you mentioned that one about Jackson and that situation. When it's kind of interesting when people break up and they go, it's me, it's not you. And then I always love the relationships where like, well, who is it? And they're like, no, it's nobody. It's nobody. I'm like, it's always somebody.
mm-hmm.
Even if it's,
Well,
I don't care if even it's a little crush or a little whatever's going on
right, or just
over there,
talking.
whatever's going on, it's like nobody. The rarity of somebody leaving somebody for nobody is slim to zero. I'm always like,
Right.
okay, as I've always made that, you're gonna love this. Who's sniffing around my meat? You know, 'cause I'm sure you've heard me use that term before, right?
Not in a long time.
It's like
We need to
someone sniffing around my meat, and you
we need
know
to
how
put
hard.
that on a T-shirt.
Who's sniffing around my meat? So
Oh
So
God,
I had a situation that I can share with you really quick
gosh.
about a few years back.
Oh, that
Megan,
almost made me cry. That's so
yeah,
funny.
I Megan's ex-boyfriend from high school. His name is Ethan, and I call him Man Mountain. His name's Ethan, and he's called Man Mountain.
Oh, I remember you talking about Man
All
Mountain.
right,
Oh,
and he's about I don't know six. So when you see this photo from high school, he's this massive dude, and then she's like 120, like 125 pounds. I'm like, and
right.
then he's so unlike me, like who I am. I'm like, well, what? How could she even correlate? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, why would you be with me when that, that's what you might have been attracted to.
Mm.
So, and she still keeps in contact with Ethan. Well, a few years back, I saw her on her phone, or she was on the like actually on the phone talking with him,
Uh-huh.
and I had to do I had to put the big boy pants on and go, okay, don't say anything, right? Don't be jealous. Don't start something that you don't know anything about. But I mean, I heard them talking on the phone. I mean, I don't know what they're talking
Well, but
about.
I mean, she's doing it with you there, though. It's not like
No,
she
she
was
was in
doing
another
it in
room.
secrecy,
No,
though.
no, she was in the other room, or she's texting. I mean, it wasn't like she was in the same room as me.
Right, but you're in the same house together.
I could hear her talking to somebody, right? And so the green-eyed monster comes on, and then the cool thing about it is a couple weeks later, we're driving down the road, and she goes, "Oh, by the way, I've been talking to Ethan, blah blah blah." So I let her say
Mm-hmm.
her piece, and
Right.
then she said something like, she goes, "Never in a million years would ever I date him ever again." So I
Oh.
was like, I'm sitting in the car going, "That's right, that's right, bitches."
Or is she
We're
just
rolling.
telling
We're rolling.
or is she just telling you that to throw you off the scent?
No,
I'm
no,
kidding.
so I won't, I will not give you the reasons. I will say, okay, I will say one reason was they politically don't align like at all.
Oh yeah. That
Like he's hardcore, like
mm-mm.
so far away from her viewpoints that
Right.
there's no, like she said, no way.
Right.
And then she said, even from a physicality, she goes, now, Rick, you say he's all da 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 da. Well, she goes, it's 30, 40 years later. Trust me, you know, it's not muscle anymore.
Right. Yes.
So I don't want to say much more than that because I don't want to get in trouble. But it's like, yeah, so
You're gonna have everyone mad at you. Ethan,
everybody's already mad at my stories
Logan,
anyway. And then
Megan.
Logan's like, you're dropping names, man. You're dropping names. You're dropping real names.
I'll do that too. Like, stop saying names.
They're gonna come after me, not you.
Sued. We're gonna get sued by all these people.
I know.
I mean, they are true stories. So what are they
I hope
gonna
so.
sue us for?
I hope.
I mean, it's true. Stories. It's the truth. It's just our version of the truth or the stories. So it's not
well,
like
as my foster mom told me, just my address is 2621. Come on over.
Oh goodness, that's hilarious.
No, so in those relationships, it's always relationships are complicated. We could do a whole other podcast down the road on relationships.
Yes, our own,
because
our
relationships
children's.
Yeah, they're hard. Mm-hmm. They're tough.
Yeah.
Even marriages. We could do a whole podcast on marriages someday.
Yeah. And we are not the people to be taking any advice from, whether you go to Fantastic Four or relationships, marriage. I do not listen to anything.
Well, don't worry, Mama Bear. You just keep watching Jackson for a while, and we'll see what happens of that. But it sounds like it's going to turn out okay.
And like you said, there's always somebody. Like we suspected there was someone, but when this person broke up with Jackson, he basically told him, like, you're not interesting. I mean, some very hurtful things that really got at Jackson. And
oh, hell no.
Really
that's not even coffee.
Up. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, see why I was like
that's
like,
that's gonna be a bitch beat down. What are you talking about?
Like,
that's not coffee. That's a bitch beat down. When I
just mean stuff like that. Just it's like just break up with him. Like you don't have to. Like I get that there has to be reasons, but that was it was bad, and it broke. Again, this was Jackson's first relationship. It broke his heart. And then hearing those things said to you as a person makes it 10 times worse. So yes. Yeah, I don't want this person coming around no more. So,
well, I hope that, crossed. I mean, again, from Jackson, it's one of those things where, that's not a good, it's like,
no,
I didn't realize that portion of it, but
Well, I mean, I didn't say that, but yeah.
And breakups, man, breakups are the worst.
Yes. And it involves all of us.
I've been through multiple ones, and it's not a fun situation. It's not fun.
No. All right. Well, I think we can wrap things up on that note because we're at almost an hour. with all Did
I get all my apologies out? I think I got all my apologies out.
Okay, you were supposed.
Sorry to all you folks.
You were supposed to apologize to Logan, right?
I did. I'm sorry.
You did
Logan.
that. Anyone else?
All the other people I named.
In all the other past podcasts. and this one too.
Do you want me to start making up names for people? I sure can.
I mean, we probably should, but we've already said their names, so I don't know. Well,
I mean, if one becomes the mayor, like that's not going to give it away, right?
If
one's Man Mountain, we know, Man Mountain, mayor.
One was the mayor.
Right.
That's
MAGA dude. If one's MAGA dude, I mean, we got.
I mean, that's pretty general. That could be a lot of guys that we know.
That could be a lot of people, but I mean, I got a whole book that we could do.
All right. Maybe we'll just start making up nicknames and anyway. All right. Don't forget we have a Facebook and Instagram page, which we don't have a lot of followers. So
follow us on socials.
Like and follow us, Rick and that Michelle chick. And thank you so much for listening and sticking around with us.